Antonelli had a tough time, especially in Spa, and he was seen almost crying. And the commentator said to Antonelli, "Are you okay, young man?" He said, "Yeah, I'll be okay." Antonelli was getting his ass whipped, making a lot of mistakes. Nobody's going to take that too seriously, okay? But right now it seems like Helmut Marko is now using passive aggressive means also to insult Antonelli and to no, not to insult Antonelli, but to throw Antonelli under the bus in front of his own team and make Mercedes look bad while trying to make Red Bull look good. He said, "Oh, Antonelli is a very fast driver, but he told me in Belgium that he said that he doesn't have confidence in his car, and as soon as he pushes, he loses control." Then he says, "So it's much more a mental thing, and apparently the car is also very critical in the working window, similar to ours, and when it works." It's much more toxic than our car. He's like this. So first of all, he's admitting that he's putting Antonelli on the spot. He's saying Antonelli was talking to him about the car, and he's like, Antonelli's like, sir, our car is very toxic, sir. So as soon as I press the accelerator, it's out of control, and I'm sure. Everybody goes like, "Thank you. I would take notes. I would take notes." And then he goes on to say that he's very happy that Mercedes doesn't have a junior team because that's where they should have sent Antonelli first. He said, "We don't have that problem. We have a junior team where we develop our drivers. We don't just throw them into fast car the way Mercedes did." So he's taking a lot of shots at them. But I think they did that. They've done some bad things too. Look what they did to Lawson. They threw him in there. Then they throw Yuki mid-season. So I think what this guy basically is doing is just playing this role for Red Bull just to troll the other teams. But it's very funny. It's very good community. It's very good entertainment. Cooley, what are you thinking about him throwing Antonelli under the bus? Antonelli will be like, sir, I would never tell you anymore. You weren't supposed to tell me. Now Toto wants to get rid of me. What do you think, Cooley?
At the age of 18, you are very emotionally vulnerable. There are so
Yeah,
many very, very young sportsmen who crash out young because they have not yet developed mental strength.
yeah.
Antonelli could go on to become the greatest Formula One driver in the history of Formula One,
Very quickly, Cooley,
or
people forget how
crash
many
out.
times. Sorry, Cooley, sorry to cut in front. People could forget how many times Verstappen crashed when he was in his 18s, almost killing
Yeah,
people. Go ahead.
yes, or he could crash out as a washed-up Formula One driver, or he could even really crash out as some guy who touched Formula One once or twice and is spend the rest of his life in rally car. Because right now, Antonelli is what we call unripe banana. He's still green in age and life experiences. I mean, I've got a pair of shoes. The shoes I used to travel whenever I travel, they're older than him. I bought them in 2002. My Caterpillar boots. I mean, this boy is a baby,
Cooley,
so he
I've
needs
got
to
a
be
past
nurtured.
drug habit. I've got a past drug habit which is older than him, man. Come on.
You see?
Let me stop. I'll do anything for click, but go
Well,
ahead.
I think when I started my drug habit, I think he was 1 year old, and when I stopped, he still wasn't old enough to own a driver's license, and I lived an
Ah,
entire time, and
you were
he
drinking beer
still,
at once.
but yeah. So you need to be careful with the soft. I mean, no matter how strong he eventually becomes, you have to be careful with this delicate age. I don't think I've seen someone drive at such a competitive level in Formula One at such a low level, and he's doing really well for it. I don't know any
I think
18.
Verstappen did it. Verstappen came at 17 or 18 years.
Yeah, he came at 17, but was he finishing this high up at 17? I don't think
No,
he
no, no.
wasn't. So Antonelli's showing that he could have a really high ceiling. I mean, obviously, we can't just assume he's going to have a higher ceiling than Verstappen just because he's doing really well now, but he is showing the potential. We don't know his ceiling. He should be nurtured. These kind of things should not be made brought into a public if it's going to affect his mental health because it will affect his performance.
But
Unless
that's
you're,
my point. That's what Helmut Marko's job is to do. That's his job to do that.
yeah, his
Because
job
he's
is
his
to
opponent.
protect the driver. His job is not to compromise the driver and put them in a situation where their mental
Oh, you
health
mean Toto
is
Wolff?
going to
Toto
be
Wolff.
affected
Yeah. Mm.
negatively. So he should look at his job and think twice before he says and does things in the public that's going to negatively affect this
Are you
young.
talking about Helmut Marko or Toto Wolff? Because Helmut Marko is for Red Bull, so he basically fucking with Antonelli and Mercedes
Yeah,
because
I
it
mean,
helps Red Bull.
should protect Antonelli from Herman Markle because Herman
Yeah.
Markle is is obviously up to mischief, and
Yeah.
you have to that it's like you have to be a mother chick. And if I was Toto Wolff, I'll come out in public and I would say something mean and insulting and take the attention away from Antonelli. And if I was Toto Wolff, I'd be like, let me insult you. You insult me.
Well, you
Let's
know what
make
I would, you know what my insult would be? My insult would be that Marko was just angry because he had to retire because something hit him in the eye when he drove. That which is true. So one
I'll
eye
give
is bad. So he's a bitter old man with one eye who wanted to be a F1 champion.
I
That's all
Toto
you have
Wolff,
to
I'll
say.
even say something about his wife, just something to really
Yeah.
piss him off that has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
All the
His
attention.
wife divorced him because he has one eye.
Yeah, it's sort of like as if somebody says something mean to my kid and I go and punch the person. The person is no longer bothered with my kid. He's all focused on me. That's what I would do. I'll take all
Yeah.
the attention away because this boy does not need the attention. So Toto Wolff needs to manage that young boy. But then again,
Wolff,
get rid of him and take Verstappen. Who knows?
No. They called Toto Wolff and told him. He said, "Hold on, I'm on the phone with Verstappen and his family. I'll get to the young boy later." You get my point? He's distracted. He's busy having. In the middle of a year, you have a 17-year-old kid who's crying, and you're busy on vacation having fun with the enemy, and you have a driver who hasn't signed a contract. So in general, Toto Wolff is distracted because he doesn't care. In fact, I think he's just waiting for 2027 to get Verstappen. What do you think, Kunle? Then we'll go to Afolabi. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's not particularly bothered with the mental states of his drivers and I'm wondering whether he's focused or maybe he's not worried about it because he's thinking, let me go and dump Antonelli on a smaller team and quickly bring in Verstappen and try to be more relevant in Mercedes for the next season because Mercedes has dropped. They stopped winning. And then with Hamilton, the last 2 seasons, they were less relevant. And then now they're even dropping even more. I mean, if they can get a high-profile driver into their car, raise their profile, and maybe win a few more races to become more relevant. Otherwise, they're becoming the Tottenham of Formula One right now, and that's not where Mercedes wants to be.
Yeah. I'm even hearing rumors that he almost wanted to sign Sainz last year instead of Antonelli, but he didn't sign Sainz because he still wants to get Verstappen down the line. So you see how it goes. All right,
Yeah,
Afolabi, last thoughts on that one.
desperate to improve their driver status.
Basically, what I feel is that the big question is, should teams be forced to give rookies a gentler entry point, or is it a sink or swim model? Just the reality of Elite Motorsport. But in the case of Antonelli, what I feel is that I think he was a little bit rushed. Look at Liam Lawson. He rebuilt his form in the Red Bull Junior seat. Mercedes doesn't have that kind of option. Is that you may look at that as a structural weakness. Also, the Mercedes machine has such a tiny working window, and then when it's off, it's toxic, like Antonelli said. Even Russell tends to struggle. So I feel the Red Bull program is more suited for developing drivers like Antonelli. And if you look at what Marko says, he says Red Bull develops drivers the right way with Racing Bulls, which is a very good program, while Mercedes just throws Antonelli straight into the fire. And the boy has been complaining. He said he admits that he's got no confidence in the car. As soon as he pushes, he loses control. That's a rookie under stress. So I feel the Red Bull program is more adds more value into easing the young drivers into the limelight as compared to Mercedes. The Mercedes one is like throw you into the deep ocean, sink or swim, and that has not helped Antonelli in any way.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick one. This is impromptu. It won't be more than 3 minutes. So here's a question I have for you, Mr. Kunle. Should Chelsea be worried already?
It's the first game of the season. And to be honest, August is almost like an extension of preseason. And things tend to change. Between August and September, everything changes. The star in August is no longer the star in October. Chelsea have got very good players. They've invested very well. And they had the formations of a pretty good team last season, and they've only added to it. They cannot be weaker. But how much stronger have they gotten? I don't really know. Chelsea do have a long way to go. I don't think they're going to do that well. I'm not sure they're going to. I think they're going to be competing for 5th place, Chelsea. They've not done well enough title challenge.
And we have to remember they won the World club championships, the guys are tired, man. They played a tournament all summer and everything, so it's going to take a little while for them to heal and to be ready
They've
and
got
to
a
be
huge
fully
squad,
fit.
so they
They've
can
got to be fully fit.
recover.
What are your thoughts on Fabi? And what do you generally think was their weakness in this game? I know what's his name didn't really get having the performance that he wanted to. Who's their star? The British, the who's
Cole Palmer.
Palmer. Yeah,
This boy,
yeah,
Cole Palmer.
yeah.
Yeah,
I might say he had an off game, but he didn't have a fantastic game. But like I said, I think it's too soon to say anything. But what is your thoughts about the game in general and about Chelsea? Should there be red lights for that warning?
I think it's early days, but I tend to lean on your line of thought that says that they looked very tired and jaded. The World Club Cup, for anything, took place in the United States, and the temperatures were unforgiving. It was very hot, and it was an extension of the season. And so it's taking its toll on some of these teams that went for the World Club Cup. They don't seem as sprightly ready as they're supposed to be. And if you look at the
Mm-hmm.
game against Crystal Palace played 8 friendly games. I think Chelsea was only able to play 3 or 4. So Crystal Palace looks fitter and faster than Chelsea. So it's early days, but I think Chelsea would have to take their fitness levels to a higher level to prove to us that they will be challenging for the title and even the Champions League. But like Kule said, I'm not very, very optimistic about their chances because last season, if you look at the way they started like a house on fire. They tailed off, and towards the end of the season, they started gathering momentum again. They look like a very inconsistent team, but
Freaky.
yeah, but they have us to prove wrong, basically.
All right, okay, thank you guys. Any last
Yeah,
thoughts on that before we head out?
a proper striker. They still need a proper striker. I don't know what they're doing, messing about there. Osimhen ought to have been in Chelsea. That is classic. That is like rice and stew and pork and beans. Chelsea and they are just the perfect match because it's London, it's a crafty company. They like a bit of money, they like a bit of flash, bit of dash, bit of this, bit of that, bit of London, bit of Nigeria. Everything about it just matched. And for them to have missed out on Osimhen, it's a disaster for them. They're not thinking about. They're
That's
thinking
a story
about.
for another day. Because Ottoman himself, he doesn't realize he's finishing his chances of being known as one of the greatest strikers. He's going to languish in
Yeah,
that country, in Turkey.
I think have they sold Nicholas Jackson now?
No, they haven't.
Who's bad?
It appears they don't have any plan for him because
No,
they got João Pedro from Brighton.
Nicholas Jackson misses, I always have to say, who's bad?
Come on, come on, come on. All right, guys, that's it for today. So keep in touch about what we're going to do tomorrow. Probably something political. Okay, take us out, Afolabi.
Yeah, another brilliant Formula One show. We've been discussing Fred Vasseur and his complaint about the media and his contract, and also the ability to ease young rookies into the F1 team like Antonelli. And from
You
myself,
sounded like porn. Ease them into porn. Okay, now you
and
need some
from
Vaseline.
myself,
Okay, Vaseline.
Moose and Kule Williams, it's been a wonderful show. We'll see you again sometime during the week.
All right, nice one, guys. We
All
did
right.
3 shows in 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys.